Close your eyes and imagine that it's 8 o'clock on a Friday evening and you're sitting in a dimly lit blues club. On a small stage in front of you, there's a guitarist and he's pouring every emotion he has in each note he's playing. You can feel the energy coming off of him as though the musician and the instrument are one and the same. Now, what you're probably not thinking about at this moment is that just 20 minutes prior, that musician was behind the stage tuning his instrument. Now, today, in order for me to look at how and why a guitar is properly tuned, it's important for us to understand the basic anatomy of the guitar, how it's tuned to specific notes, and why that proper tuning is so important. Let's begin by looking at the basic anatomy of a guitar. Whether we're talking about a hollow body acoustic guitar that you would see someone playing in front of a campfire, or a solid body electric guitar that's played at top volume through an amplifier, they're typically the same. They typically are made of wood, they have 6 steel strings, and they're comprised of 3 main sections. The first main section is what's called the body. That houses a piece called the bridge, which is what one end of the string is held to. And a hollow body acoustic guitar will have a sound hole, which is where the sound is projected out of, whereas a solid body electric guitar has small magnetic pickups which transfer the vibration of the string electronically into an amplifier so that the listener can hear it. The second section of the guitar is called the neck. That's the long, thin part. The front of the neck is normally brown in color because it's rosewood or ebony, and it has little metal bars attached to it. Those are called frets. Now, the third section of the guitar is called the headstock. That's the part at the end that has the little metal knobs on it. Now, those little metal knobs are actually called tuning machines. That's where the other end of the string is connected, and those tuning machines are used to tighten or loosen the string to change its pitch. Now that you know a little bit about the basic anatomy of the guitar, let's look at how the guitar is tuned to specific notes. Now, a concert pitch guitar is tuned from top to bottom, E, A, D, G, B, E. Now, not knowing anything about music theory, those notes might look very random. Now, I can't get into every note on the fretboard or music theory in depth, but let me assure you that those notes are not random. They're very specific in nature. Now, the frets on that guitar neck are measured with great precision. The length of the string determines the pitch, and when you press the string down behind each fret, it sounds a specific note when in tune. Now, according to Chapter 2, Turn On, Turn In, of the book Guitar for Dummies, there are 2 ways to tune a guitar. The first way is to tune it to itself, and the second way is to tune it to a fixed source. Now, to tune it to itself is a bit of a misnomer because you need an original reference source, such as a tuning pipe or a pitchfork, tuning fork, or a note on a piano. Once you get that original note, then you can tune the guitar to itself. In order to do that, you would hold the top string down at the 5th fret and play the string underneath it. If those 2 strings sound identical, then the note is in tune. Then you proceed down the fretboard at the 5th fret until you get to the 4th string. The 4th string is the one exception where you have to go to the 4th fret. Once those 2 notes are matched up, you go back to the 5th fret and proceed. If all of those notes are matched, then the guitar is in tune. The second way to tune a guitar is to a fixed source, whether it be a piano or another instrument that is constantly in tune, or pitch pipes. That is a fixed source. A more common way to tune the guitar with a fixed source is with a digital tuner. That's where you plug a guitar into this item called a digital tuner, and it will show the specific note being played. If you need to raise or lower the pitch, it will tell you with a little arrow, and once it's in tune, it will either show a green light or some flashing thing that will tell you that it's in tune. That's usually the preferable way that individuals tune their guitars so that they know that it's dead on accurate. Now, that's a brief synopsis of how a guitar is tuned, but it's really why we tune the guitar that's important. Let me explain to you why proper tuning is so important. Properly tuning a guitar is important because without tuning it, the instrument will never be playing the specific notes that we intend to play. Now, according to Don J. McLean, author of Absolute Essentials of Music Theory for Guitar, all Western music is composed and played using just 12 notes. Now, notes, or tones, as they're also referred, are very specifically measured pitches that create structure in songs and provide key signatures that we relate the song to. Now, being able to structure specific songs is the very foundation of musical theory, And the way that music is often described is universal, that everybody can learn it. Now, music at its most basic level is just raw emotion, but music theory, on the other hand, can be described as mathematical or calculated, and thereby making it that thing that everybody can learn. Now, being in tune is also universal because it's the only way that two musicians can sit down and really relate and be speaking the same language to one another. If one of their instruments is out of tune or both are out of tune, then it won't sound pleasing to the ear when they're playing together because they won't be matching up their notes properly. Now, that's a brief rundown of why proper tuning is so important. So let's review what we've discussed today. Today we discussed the basic anatomy of the guitar, how it's tuned to specific notes, and why that proper tuning is so important. Now that you have an understanding of how and why the guitar is properly tuned, the next time you hear a song that has guitar in it, I want you to think about how important it was for those musicians to take a few minutes out before their set to tune up their instruments so that they could properly convey their emotions and really be speaking that universal language of music.